Hi, I'm Norm Abram, and welcome back to This Old House. Today we're going to show you a smart engineering solution for our flat roof.
We'll shed some light on the renowned artist who used to live in our house. And what better place to enjoy views of the river than on a new roof deck? And we're going to make it watertight with a rubber roof.
All sealed up and watertight.
Which means next thing is this roof gets a deck.
And what a deck, off the master bedroom with a beautiful view.
One of the problems this house always had is that when you entered the front door, you came into a warren of dark spaces. Well, we've started to improve that. First, by building a new entry hall. There'll be a nice big front door with side lights on each side, another window right here, and a larger window here. So now we've started to bring light into what was a dark space. But you know, this house really was never living up to its potential. There are great river views out there that you didn't even know existed. So now we're trying to solve that problem. Now, there was a small opening here into the living room. We're going to make it bigger. Tom has framed out this area. We're going to cut away this old plaster wall. Now some light starts to come through, and come here, look what really happens. We've opened up the entire back wall into the new sunroom. Now you can get to see the view. Gone is the frosted window that you couldn't see through, and a very small set of French doors. We have a great view now. The next thing to do is frame up the ceiling and the roof.
Now the first thing we have to do, Norm, is we want to make sure that we match the ceiling height in the existing house in our new room.
Right, so even though this beam is going to be boxed out, the ceilings are going to be in the same plane.
Right. The other thing you have to realize is that this ceiling on top of it is going to be a roof. On top of that is going to be a wonderful deck.
Right.
Now when the homeowners step out of their master bedroom, I want to make sure that they step down onto that beautiful deck, not up.
Right, and that's going to be a challenge because you don't have very much space between the bottom of the finished ceiling and the underside of this door opening.
Right. Well, it all starts right here with these engineered joists.
All right. Now at the outside wall, the beam is going to sit in this pocket. It runs all the way across the room over to the hanger that Tommy just installed. Now these timbers, these 2x6s, are going to serve two purposes. They're going to be the joists for the ceiling and the rafters for the roof deck, and they're perpendicular to the beam.
And there's a lot of those joists, and they're all going to sit in these hangers right here. These are going to be attached to the beam. They're going to be 16 inches on center. It's a lot easier to install all of these hangers on the beam when it's on the sawhorses than there is up on a ladder.
Using a piece of scrap 2x6, we make sure that the joist hanger has the right spacing to receive the joist.
Okay, to me. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Here we go. We got to get this one from the other side.
All right, okay.
Coming up. Okay.
Like it was meant to be there. On this side of the sunroom, there's a large opening for a sliding glass door that's going to lead out onto the deck. To span the opening, we have another big beam. Since the joist hangers are not on the beam, we're going to bring the hangers to the beam.
Now we're ready to run our rafters from beam to beam.
All right, just about ready to set the last joist here in the center section. And by the time we build down the ceiling with 1 inch of insulation, blue board, and plaster, we'll be absolutely even with the plaster ceiling in the living room.
Now I want to take these 3 individual LVLs and turn them into a beam. To do that, I need to screw them together. I'm going to use these 5-inch long legs and screw through the side.
For the last bay, we only need a hanger on the beam. The other end of the joist sits on the wall.
All right, the roof is framed. Now we're ready to sheathe it.
Well, it's a little bit early to be taking bets on what the favorite room in this house will be, but right off this master bedroom, this deck would be my choice.
It's going to be beautiful all year round.
Yeah.
Now a little adhesive on the tongue. All right, bang it in, a little more. Left side, Dan. There you go. Good.
Well, Tom, we wanted to accomplish two things with this frame. We wanted the bottom of the new ceiling to match the ceiling in the living room and have it level.
Right. The other thing we wanted to accomplish, we wanted to make sure when we left the house and we entered this room out here, the deck, we stepped down because we didn't want water to enter the building. Now this is a roof. The other thing we had to do is make sure that this has a slight pitch to it. The way we did that is we took the joists before we made them into a beam and we ripped them down at a taper. So we took a ½ an inch off of this end and we went all the way up to nothing on this end. That gave us a taper.
Right, and we also had to treat the joists. We started on this end with a full 5½ inch 2x6, trimmed a little bit off of each one until we got to 5 inches at the other end matching the beam.
And then we had our pitched roof.
All right, let's button it up.
Sounds good.
Now, I knew I'd find Richard down here in the mechanical room.
I'm always down here, Norm. How are you?
Good.
Last time we were together down here, do you remember? There was a heating boiler right here, this big green thing, as big as you and I.
It was huge.
Covered in asbestos, and we had to get rid of that. We knew we were going to have a new boiler, but we're going to have real restraint. We're going to just tie onto these old pipes right here, reuse the radiators. Well, right through here was this huge cast iron pipe that came and hit everybody's head when they walked through it. Homeowner said, can we work on getting rid of this thing? So we looked around and we ran PVC instead of the cast iron right here along the wall. We got to this point, we couldn't go by the door, couldn't go by the window, so we dove down into the floor right here.
Yeah, and we're in the basement, so you had to cut through the slab to get below the slab, put in all this new piping.
But there was a bathroom here, remember?
Yeah, it was a functional bathroom.
Yeah, if you're working in the garden or working on your automobile. But, they really thought about it, and they said, this is a beautiful new family room. Can we look at putting a new bathroom here with full head height?
Well, but, it's one thing to strip back to the studs and maybe drop in some new fixtures and put up some new drywall, but the whole thing is you had to go below the earth. You had to go below the slab for all this new plumbing.
Right, but we're going to show real restraint here. This is basic plumbing 101. We've got a toilet right here. Right where you're standing is going to be a fiberglass shower stall, a basic vanity right here, and this will all be linoleum, no fancy tile, and I think they'll say that this is probably the best money they spent.
Right, but it is going to cost something.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, also in the heating side of things, there's been a few changes too. I talked about those radiators. There is a radiator in every single room. We're going to reuse them. We knew there was some modifications we had to do, like getting rid of this piping up into the ceiling.
Right. And the reasoning for that was to save some money, right?
That's right.
Okay.
On the last month, you know what happened here?
Yeah, we had a few heat waves.
100 degrees for about a week and a half. Guess what's in the budget now?
I'm guessing air conditioning?
Absolutely. So we're going to go with a mini duct air conditioning system right here. Here's the main trunk. And these are attenuators. They run inside the walls. And these outlets right here can run in the floors, the walls, or the ceilings. This is really perfect for a retrofit. In a house like this, we don't have a lot of closet space, not a lot of places to run ducts.
Right, you don't want to start dropping the ceiling.
That's
and
right.
so forth.
So if we can run air conditioning from here, I can actually add a hot water heating coil at the air handler and also make the heating come out of these outlets so we can have heating and cooling from one duct.
Well, that makes sense, and then you won't have to reconfigure those radiators.
That's right. And on a hot day like this, they're going to be glad they have air conditioning.
They will.
Absolutely.
The purpose of our renovation has always been to lighten up the house and to open it up to the views of the river. And it had us thinking, who lived in such a dark house and why were there so many dark rooms? Well, it was this room back here that was the biggest clue. This is the darkest room in the house. And it's also a place where the previous homeowner spent a lot of time. His name was Jules Aarons, and he lived in the house for almost 45 years. Now, a physicist by trade, he was also a professional photographer. And it was right here in this sink where so many of his images were seen for the first time, because this was his darkroom. Now those images, well, many of them were stunning, and we are not the only ones who think so. One of the country's foremost libraries has been collecting those images for years.
He very solidly, for most of his career as a photographer, worked in the genre of street photography, where you went out into urban areas with a camera and you captured human life as it's lived in the streets.
But he was a physicist by trade, so is he an amateur photographer, or is he this a vaulted photographer as you see him?
Well, he's an amateur in the fact that he didn't do it professionally, but his skill level was not amateur. He was a professional and fine art photographer in every way, and that included the composition, printing, every aspect of producing a great photograph.
All right, well, let's talk about this genre of street photography. A quintessential Jules Aarons photo right there?
I would say so, yeah. That's one he was very proud of. There's a lot of drama going on here. It's almost like watching a film in still. You see that some of the men are sort of talking to each other and chatting, but some are looking at the photographer almost in their moment of discovery of the fact that they're being watched. And he's caught this perfect moment between these two dynamics, and then he juxtaposes it beautifully with this shot of a corner, a typical urban street corner in the North End neighborhood. You know, it's a mission-type based photography. First of all, starts with a love of humanity and a love of urban spaces. He approached everything with great seriousness. He spent a lot of time doing it, and it's really the printing that puts him over the edge, that makes him a fine artist. More work goes into the darkroom side of the photograph than in the exposure side.
So here even I start to see it. I mean, her face is so set off because it's a stark black background.
Exactly. It's just she's kind of looming out of this dark background, and she almost is incandescent, her face. She's given this kind of drama and almost angelic light to highlight her face in this photograph.
And then the printing, which you say is the most important, was done in the basement of our house.
That's right. In that humble little space. In the hands of a master like Jules Aarons, darkrooms are magical.
Who are these people? I mean, what was his fascination with just, I guess, regular folks, but they're all sort of city dwellers?
Yeah, that's what you're interested in street photography. It's a very humanistic genre of photography. There's almost a political side to it where you're trying to show that these people are important, they're real people. Just because they live in a city and they're working class doesn't mean that their life doesn't have value and that it can't be a subject of great art.
I think one of the most fundamental things about him was his deep love of humanity. And every photograph he took, every relationship he had, really was a way in which he wanted to emphasize, preserve, and embrace the way people were able to present themselves to the world in a positive and dignified way. I think you see that he was fascinated by the way in which people presented themselves out of their homes, into the street, in a way that was dramatic and I think joyous in many cases, and that's the way his love of people showed itself in all of these photos.
So he wasn't on the street corner with these folks sharing a laugh or telling stories with them?
Not at all. He was in fact kind of reserved himself. He would get up super early. He was a very early riser, 5:30, and he would literally go out with his Rolleiflex, kept at his side, and he would watch people and watch what they did in the street and watch how they related to one another. And he would take a photograph at the right moment, very quietly, and then take that image home with him and explode it in the darkroom, which was part of what I got to see most of. So this was really a magical place for me when I was growing up in the house, down here in the darkroom, in the basement.
I got to work side by side with my dad. I got to watch him develop photographs. It started with the enlarger. It ended here in this incredible sink. You'd see the final image of those great photographs come to life out of blank paper. It was really remarkable.
So this room represents weekends with your dad.
Exactly. I love being in the dark room. I love working side by side with him. He was so passionate about the work that he did that for me it was just a great education and a great way to spend time with my dad.
Well, you've had a chance to sort of look at some of the things that we're doing to your father's house. I'm curious, do you have any thoughts of what he might think of the house or think of these renovations that we're doing?
Yeah, I think he would really appreciate what's been going on. I think the fact that it's been opened up, the fact that you can see the river so much more. I think he would love the fact that there's a new family moving in with kids that could grow up the way we did. We had so much fun here. And he was a guy who loved transformation. So to have something that he was passionate about be transformed into something that works for someone else, I think he would be really, really proud of that.
Up here on the second floor, we have 3 bedrooms. Most of the work up on this floor is in the bathrooms. Now, we had back-to-back bathrooms here. They were perfect 50s vintage bathrooms with the pink and everything else. And I used to have an unusual thing, a hallway right through the 2 bathrooms.
Connected.
Right.
But we're doing away with that. We're going to have 2 separate bathrooms. You're standing in the kids' new bathroom, and this is going to be the new master bath, which is connected to the master bedroom right here.
Yeah. So here in this bathroom, let me give you the layout. We've got a lavatory right here. You can see where the trap will go right there. Mm-hmm. Over here is where the toilet is for this bathroom right here.
Now, wait, hang on a second, Richard. I'm seeing all new PVC. I know we wanted to renovate the bathroom because the tile was dated and such, but nothing could stay?
We actually thought that we could reuse the cast iron stack and the cast iron piping that was here. Toilets moved. All of a sudden, when the toilets move, it really makes more sense to redo all the piping with PVC.
Because the toilet pipe is the hard pipe to deal with.
So here is the toilet drain right here for the kids' bathroom. You can see it goes this way. And now it goes down here through the full-size stack to the basement. Mm-hmm. But there's also a branch right here. And this is really one of the great stories about back-to-back bathrooms. It makes the plumbing a lot easier. Here is the drain that goes over and takes the toilet from the master bathroom right there and comes back. Now, that's the big piping. We also have to have branches that take our shower and everything else. So right here you can see this branch. Now you see this joist right here? When we drill through here, we've added a piece of plywood on the side. We call it sistering to the joist, and that adds some structure, so it means that the joist will stay strong.
You have something sistered here, here, and it actually continues all the way through here.
That's right. It also has to have a vent. And so right here you can see the vent that continues up into the wall. Now all the vents in the building now come together, you see it? And they go right up through this full-size vent stack out through the roof. And that's where Ronnie's working, up in the attic right now.
On a day like today, poor Ronnie.
Now the big pipe right next to him is the pipe that we were just underneath in the master bathroom and kids' bathroom. That's the vent stack.
Yep.
And this is a vent that's coming up from some of the other fixtures down the first floor. Now we could run that vent stack right up through the roof. We could actually have gone through the old vent stack hole right there. But that's visible from the street and from the house next door. So what we prefer to do is to run it up here to the back of the building so nobody sees it.
So all this work is just for aesthetics?
That's right.
Oh, that's a nice touch. No more rickety deck up here, Tommy. Oh, wow, and you're making some pretty good progress on this roof.
Yeah, we're getting ready to install the rubber roofing. We've covered our sheathing with this underlayment right here. This has to go down first. It's like a padding. It's made of a wood fiber, and it has a little bit of insulation. And so we have to fasten that to the roof with these screws and washers. I'm using these big washers so that the screws won't pull through the underlayment.
So what are we working with here, Tommy?
All right, this is a rubber roofing, and what we've done is we've cut it a little bit longer than we need. We're going to lay it flat on the roof dry. Good. Stay on the sheet. Well, we don't want the sheet to slide, so just go right across the whole roof. See if we can fold it at least halfway. All right, watch where you're walking now. Don't step off the back of the roof there. This is contact cement. We have to apply it to the top side of the underlayment and the underside of the rubber roof. When the 2 surfaces are dry, they will then stick together. I don't want to have any lumps, but I want to have complete coverage. Whatever you do, don't slide your foot because you'll stretch the rubber. Yeah, let's lay it right down. Keep it flat. All right, now let's pull this piece back and we get more glue on it. Okay, Dan, get some glue on that, will you? What we want to do is roll the rubber roofing onto the substrate, and I don't want to get any bubbles, so we can't stretch it. That's why we have to push it. Pick up, yeah, see? All right, just let it go right over the edge. Okay, now let's go pull the other half back. Take it back to right where the glued surface is. It's right there. Now we do the second piece. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick our hand to the piece, pick it up a little bit, and then just try to pull it gently. Don't slide the piece underneath. And don't let it wrinkle. Just pick up gently and pull it. Okay, now leave that edge right up like it is. Pull it right over. All right, now we're ready to glue the two pieces together at the seam, and we're going to use a contact cement here also. It's called rubber to rubber.
Put it on both sides.
Yep, and when the surface dries to the touch, you stick them together. All right, you ready? Now we're going to flip it over, and then we're going to caulk the seam with a lap sealant.
All right, so all sealed up?
All sealed up and watertight.
Which means next thing is this roof gets a deck.
And what a deck, off the master bedroom with a beautiful view.
All right, so we got a lot more work to do, and that's all coming up next time. So until then, I'm Kevin O'Connor.
And I'm Tom Silva.
For This Old House. So there's a pool going on. What's the nicest room in the house?
Yeah, this one. I'm holding the money, by the way.
Are
You got
you?
anything? Yeah. That's not enough. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Later.
Yeah.